First things first, Connor. How are you?
Good, yeah. Very excited. FS Live. Can't wait.
Very good to hear. So, where I want to start with is Broken Machine was released just over a year ago, I think.
Is that what it was? Jesus.
How do
Time
you
goes
look
by.
back at those songs? Oh,
Yeah, I actually was thinking about that the other day. I'm still proud of the songwriting on that and our message within that song. It feels funny. It feels like a different period in my life now.
How come?
Well, in a weird way, because of what the subject matter is, and
Right.
obviously not all the songs are about that certain subject matter that I'm referring to, but the idea, of dealing with mental health and where I was. I have a place in time where I remember exactly where we were when we wrote those songs and where I was. So it's quite, it's weird to listen back to that. It's different when I'm on stage live. I can refer to whatever I'm dealing with in the present week, day, month, and put the song into my perspective currently, and that's the way I deal with things, and actually the way I get through things on tour. It's really healthy for me to do that, and also gives the song a new lease of life for me. But when I listen back to when it's recorded, it reminds me of when we wrote it and just where I was. So it's not that the songs sound dated at all; they still sound great, and like Mike Cross did an awesome job. But yeah, no, it's just it's nice. It's a really strong chapter in our life, and I always look back on it fondly and tenderly as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can imagine because, like you say, the subject matter, talking about mental health, and also talking openly about it in interviews, amongst others with us. How has the reaction been to you doing that?
Yeah, good. I actually read something today. Got a letter from a school teacher who said that she had some kids suffer with mental health issues without realising they were when they were about 12, 13 years old, because they came back from that Ariana Grande concert,
Right.
where the
In Manchester.
yeah exactly, the terrorist attack, and she said that her school didn't have the funding to do like a therapist or a mental health thing. And she used to be a licensed therapist, so she was like, screw this, I'm going to do this myself after class and invite the kids if they want to come to talk about it. And she used our music and broke the subject matter of it down. And because music is fun and it's fluid, it's an easier way to learn it, what we're talking about. So she broke down the lyrics and the emotion carried throughout, and then taught it to her kids in that way. And now they're openly okay to talk about what they went through. Like one of the girls apparently was in hospital, so she got hit when the nail bomb went off. Yeah, I think that was one of the most amazing things I've read about it. There's been, quite a lot of really amazing stories, but this obviously this morning I read it. So I was like, wow, really, I think that'll stick with me for a long time. Yeah, the fact that this teacher used our songs, and particularly Broken Machine, to break down what mental health is and how it feels, and it was an easy analogy for her that your body is like a machine and there's chemicals running through it in a sense. And that was really cool. It was really, really nice to hear.
Has that process of making that album and going through what you went through, has that how has that affected the way you look at kind of this whole deal of being a touring musician?
You always ask like the right questions, and they always, it's like you've had a kind of like an eavesdrop on my life in a weird way, because I've in a weird way been exploring myself as an artist and a musician on my own, and nothing. So obviously, I'm not going to do anything. I'm 100% dedicated to Nothing But Thieves, and will always be. I've just been doing it for fun and own expression as well, and just been through a lot the last 5 years, and It's been nice to get it down and to express myself that way. So what I went through taught me to just do what I need to do. Listen to myself, write it down, because I always feel better when I do. It's helped open relationships in that sense. Some with the band and some with myself and with my family. And then in some side of the time, close relationships because of progression and who I am as a person, wanting to move forward, which is something I'm currently dealing with, which is hard, but, you know, family's family.
But I can imagine that being very tough because you don't want to go into certain behaviors anymore.
Exactly. I feel like I progress as a person. That's what I like about these interviews. You don't just talk about music, talk about people. I progress as a person, and I feel like I'm getting to an age where I don't have time to, and with my job as well, I don't have time to babysit the people who aren't progressing. So my friends, my best friends and my best friends, you know, and then there's people that just need to, if they can't catch up, you know, how many chances do you give them? You've got to progress, you've got to stay in your lane and do what you can for other people, but you can't let them drag you back.
I think that's very, very important, not to feel responsible for the well-being of others.
And that's what I've always done my whole life, is feel responsible for other people and sit on the fence in some respects. But from now on, it's just, I've got to live my life, and you should be happy. It's as simple as that. You've got to do things that make you happy, because time is so short. And I felt I was getting to a point last few years where I just felt so down about certain things, aspects, you know. I just needed to change. And I feel like I am, you know, and I have, and feel great.
In that sense then, because it does feel like you are in a much better place, so what is the feeling now when you, for instance, in a couple hours you'll go on stage? What is that feeling now when you kind of walk on?
Yeah, I mean, that's never changed for me. Like, even when I was going through, going on stage was always the release, and it was always something that, well, like, helped me deal with whoever anyway, but like, it's just always been the best. Like, I love it. I love expressing myself through my voice. So that hasn't changed. In a way, it just gets better and better because the shows are getting bigger, the production's getting, you know, more thought out and interesting. Like, tonight's production's going to be great. And if you're watching this in the future, hope you liked it. Yeah, so I always enjoy the shows, and I like the fact that they're not going to get worse. I'm always going to enjoy them more.
What I found interesting about, you said you were exploring certain parts of your own creativity.
Yeah.
What have you noticed about yourself in that sense?
That everything I tend to write is emotional. And it doesn't mean that it's just like sad, depressing, sad. It's like, even if I'm writing an upbeat, happy song, I just, because I'm not like I'm a classically trained trumpet player and singer, but I'm not that good on the guitar or the piano. So when I write with both instruments, I write like I tune it all differently, so I don't know the notation. So what I'm writing with is with my heart and my gut. So all the notes and what I hear in my ears and my head, I get down to track from in here. And I'll show someone like Dom and be like, all right, this is chord progression correct. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, try this note. You know, it's like, that's cool. Because he's just like, he's got classical ears. But I just try and write with my gut. And that's the way it works for me. And then I listen back to him like, oh yeah, that feels good. And that's the best way I could write for me. So yeah, I've noticed that what I tend to write, there's always hidden sadness within it. But I think that's who I am, the way I sing, because I'm a very emotional being. Sometimes I have to keep it in, but I don't like to do that. I like to let it out constantly.
But as a singer, I think that's a good thing, probably. But what I find interesting is this how it works then and it can be for anything, but when you work out the songs for Nothing But Thieves, and is it that initial gut feeling that tells you something is good?
Yeah, no, exactly that. And that's actually one thing the guys, like, we all have our little tricks and perks and stuff, and this one thing they always rely on is my gut feeling with things. When we wrote Amsterdam, the very first minute we finished it and we were about to leave the studio, I was like, that is going to be a single. I know it. Because it gave me a feeling when I was younger and I first heard like Foo Fighters, Monkey Wrench, or like No One Knows, it just made me go like, come on. You know, like, I just felt good. It felt good. And then when we did it in the studio, it was the first song we tracked, and I asked for it to be the first song we tracked because I wanted to just give all my lung capacity to it. So I just gave it everything. I didn't think I could sing for a couple of days. I was so tired. But I just gave it everything. Because I wanted to prove a point. I was like, this is going to be a big single. And even then, when we were recording it, everyone was a bit like, yeah, we'll see. Stuck with it. My gut feeling. Because that, again, it's listening to something and writing something. It's the same thing. If you write something and you go, yeah, that makes me fucking feel good. You know? Feel good in certain different ways. But like Amsterdam made me feel good in like a, I don't know, like a kind of, yeah, let's fucking rage to this. You know, that was good. Headbanging, dance to it, you know, and I just trusted my gut with it, and I was really pushy about it, and then we released it as first single, and now Dom and Joe are like, oh yeah, no, I'm really glad we did that. It's like, but it's cool, I'm happy. Yeah, so I try and trust my gut, so anything we write in future, and anything I write by myself as well, like, I just try and like, trust my gut, and it's good, like even recently, I've just been writing constantly. I'll listen back to something, and I'll just be like, nah, I don't like that section. And I'll discard it, because if it doesn't feel good to me, doesn't mean if it's good enough. I'm saying if it doesn't feel good to me, then it's not going to stay in the song. So, yeah.
Final question then. You mentioned that you're writing all the time now. Are you as a band already thinking about what comes next? Yeah,
for sure. So we'll just for the audience's headspace. When I say I'm writing all the time, it's just for general creativity and for fun and because I enjoy it. But you know, Nothing But Thieves, we are taking a little break and having a rest because we've been touring for like 4.5 years. Right. So we're having a little rest and we won't be writing together for a little bit. And then when we come back, and we've been writing already for album 3, but we're going to come back next year and our ideas we've gathered individually, we'll bring them together and we'll write together. And hopefully it'll be very, very fun, experimental and creative and feel good and we have a plan to like really work our ass off for that.
All right.
Excited.
Conor, thank you very
much for your time.
Of course. Always a pleasure.
No, it's great. Cheers, dude.